lovely darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy. This time I'm doing another Top 5 Wednesday. As always, the Goodreads group is in the description below if you want to check it out, as is the entire list of books that I'm talking about. So this week's topic is our favorite tricksters, and I seriously love the trickster character. Whether we're talking about mythology, or comic book characters, or novels, or TV show characters, anybody who loves playing tricks, pranksters, who have a few things up their sleeves they're not really revealing. They have such depth of character, and they're kind of unpredictable. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're ambivalent, sometimes they're just complete and total chaos, and I love them all. So, picking my top 5 is going to be hard. I stuck with ones that originated in books, so as much as I love the Master in Doctor Who, or Discord in My Little Pony, I am not going to count them for this list. I'm going to try to stick with things that originated in literature of some kind. So first up, I have Matilda from Matilda by Roald Dahl. This is a young girl who is a total and absolute bookworm. So, girl after my own heart. And she loves reading, but it kind of makes her different from her family and her classmates and everybody around her. And also, she goes to the school with this really awful principal who just likes to abuse the children, basically. Matilda develops telekinetic powers that she then uses to play pranks on people, whether it's her family or the headmistress of the school, and gets her own through those pranks. So, of course, I totally relate to the bookworm part of her character and finding her friends in books. But I also really love it when she gets her powers. As a kid, I always imagined what I would do if I had telekinetic powers and can move things around. So much imagination in this. And of course, the headmistresses and her parents' comeuppance come from her powers, which I love. So I also really love Puck from A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Okay, it's a play, but also it's 400 years old, and it's been a book for like 400 years, so we're going to count it. So Puck in this is a fairy, and he sets off this motion where we have these lovers, and he starts messing with them, and they think that they're in love with the other person. There's also a whole subplot with the fairies and somebody getting turned into a donkey. I love all the crazy zany things that happen in this play, but I also really love Puck as a character. Like, he means well, he's trying to do what he's told by Oberon, and then he does go ahead and set things right at the end, and it's just really entertaining. And of course, the entire thing is just a dream at the end, so don't get too worried about everything that Puck was doing to mess with everyone. Number 3 on my list is Anansi. He appears in Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman, but he is also this trickster god from Africa. And I love just any story where he appears. I don't like spiders at all. I am scared of them, but they freak me out. So the fact that I like Anansi, who is a giant spider, tells you a lot about his appeal as a character, but I can get over my aversion to spiders for him. So Anansi's origin story has him tricking the other African gods, things like the leopard and the monkey, and he just revels in messing with them and just really has fun. Like, the other characters always come off as so serious and like, we have to be the embodiment of our things, and Anansi is the one out there having fun and joking around, and he's also the god of stories, and so just entirely like loves telling tales. And in Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman, we are following his son, Fat Charlie, and his other son, Spider. And Fat Charlie really just wants to live this normal life, unencumbered by magic or superpowers or whatever you want to call it. But his brother, Spider, is absolutely, totally on board with following in his father's footsteps and causing chaos and just playing tricks on everybody, and kind of just can't live a stable life at all because of this. So I love reading Anansi Boys and how the two boys get to know each other as they meet for the first time, and also find out more about their dad, as they've each kind of seen two different sides from him. Next up, I have characters from the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I picked Order of the Phoenix because honestly this is the most depressing book, so anything that happens comedically ends up being like 50 times funnier, and the ending of this book is so amazing and involves some really, really great pranks. I love it. So it was hard to choose between Fred and George Weasley, who, you know, realistically are literally like one person for the most of this book series. Like, they play off of each other. Other person is Pius the Poltergeist, who does not appear in the movies, sadly, but is absolutely hilarious anytime he shows up in the books. He is basically there for a comedic relief and just playing pranks on the teachers and the students at Hogwarts, and I adore him. I think Fred and George inch him out just a little bit because they have more backstory, and so when the finale of this book happens, when Fred and George are finally leaving Hogwarts for the last time, they're finishing off school, they leave in the most dramatic way possible, and it's amazing. And then my last pick is Loki, who is from Norse mythology. He is the Norse god of mischief, and definitely is a trickster anytime he appears. He has so many adaptations. He is such a great character and has so many different facets to his personality that he shows up everywhere. So he's definitely my favorite comic book character, and also really love him anytime he shows up in books. So I picked the Agent of Asgard comics from Marvel, which are amazing, and also Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, which are his takes on classic Norse myths. Even going back to the Norse myths, Loki is constantly in flux. He is this character that can be anything. He can shapeshift. He can turn into a horse. He can turn into a woman. He can mimic other people and look like he's somebody else, and it's amazing. And he helps as much as he causes problems, sometimes having to fix problems that he caused in the first place, which is fun. So, for instance, one of my favorite stories is about this wall they're trying to build around Asgard, and they convince this builder to come and build the wall. And Loki sets a time limit that if it's all or nothing, either you finish this wall by this time and we give you amazing prizes, or you don't finish it on time and we get to just keep the wall and everything. It'll be great because the wall will be mostly finished. But the guy surprises everyone, starts working super fast. He looks like he's going to win the hand of a goddess that Loki shouldn't have offered up in the first place. And then Loki ends up having to slow the guy down by becoming a horse and distracting the builder's horse by mating with them. And that's how Loki becomes pregnant with an 8-legged horse. It's an amazing story. So, like I said, Loki sometimes has to fix his own problems. And in the comics, my favorite is the Loki Agent of Asgard storyline, where Loki's trying to be good, but he has to battle basically himself, this earlier version of himself that is still evil. Who else is he going to outsmart? And so he ends up having to use all his cunning as he has to outthink himself, which I love. Loki also shapeshifts into a female version of himself, so we have Lady Loki. And I love how he ends up having to save Asgard from Ragnarok and ends up becoming the god of stories, which is pretty much awesome. Like, everything about the series I love. So there are my top 5 picks for my favorite tricksters in books and literature and mythology. Let me know in the comments below what are your favorites. I know I had to miss some stuff. I stuck with book mythology starting one, so I love Discord and My Little Pony. I love The Master and Doctor Who. I love Coyote and Native American stories. So many options. Q and Star Trek. Like, let me know what your favorites are. Picking only 5 or 7 technically was hard. So, yeah. Do you have any other stories that these 5 appear in that you think are, like, more amazing and better that I should check out? Yeah. So, peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.